Yes, us. Welcome to the Kefi Life Podcast. My name is Kiki Vale, and I'll be your guide to creating a life of Ola Kala, all is well. Together, we'll get back to the basics, and we'll explore fresh new ways to flourish in mind, body, and soul the Greek way. You can look forward to interviews, stories, essential self-care strategies, recipes, and actionable takeaway Ola Kala moments. This is going to be so much fun. Let's get going. Πάμε! Our Lexi for today is Siga, or slowly. There's an expression that goes like this: slow is smooth, smooth is fast, fast is deadly. Take it Siga, slowly, my friends. What's the rush? One thing I'm focused on this year is to eat slowly. I want to know what I'm eating. I want to allow myself the time to properly digest and enjoy my food, not inhale it because I'm always in a hurry. Chewing your food longer breaks it down more, which helps your stomach digest it. In addition, when you eat Siga, Siga, slowly, slowly, you give your brain a heads up to signal your stomach to let the digestion begin. Siga, Siga, slowly, slowly. I like it. Eleolado, olive oil, has been celebrated in the civilized world for millennia, nearly eternal. The oil of this fruit has been more than just food to the cultures of the Mediterranean region. It's been medicinal, ceremonial, sacramental, and the foundation of great wealth and power. It is safe to say that olive oil is the ethos, the essence of Greek culinary culture. Today, the priceless and life-giving ingredients of this liquid gold can be delivered to you when you purchase your premium bottle of Kefi Life extra virgin olive oil from the region my parents were born, the Peloponnese. The coveted Koroneiki olive is extensively cultivated here in the southern part of Greece, which offers the unique microclimate needed to grow a fruit netting the utmost nutrient value for extra virgin olive oil. Kefi Life Extra Virgin Olive Oil, a boundless amount of value, high in antioxidants with anti-inflammatory properties, linked to good mood and improved mental health. Get your bottle of wellness today when you visit kefilife.shop. Welcome to the Kefi Life Podcast. I love having you here because why? I get to share some of the best guests and people in the world, literally. Today we have someone who I've been trying to connect with for months and months, and we finally made it happen. The reason I like to bring you these types of guests is because they generally have an area of expertise in health and wellness, maybe through their profession, where they can share tips, tools, and resources to get you and me healthy, happy, and kefinated for just for the sake of this podcast. And we talk about being ola kala, all is well, panda kala, all the time. And I believe that Stratis Kamatsos book addresses the things that we just talked about, the slow life diet, Greek village living. And I'm just so excited to introduce you by way of London. I'm in the States. Stratis, welcome. Kalos ήρθατε. I'm so happy you're here.
Kalos σας βρήκα, Kiki. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a journey to get this podcast together, but I'm glad that you continue to be interested in me and my book and what I do, and that we made this thing happen. So yeah, I am in London right now. So we are across the pond. Yeah, thank you again for having me as a guest.
Absolutely my privilege and my honor. And I'm excited to dive into the book. But I think I read in your book that you were born in the States. And if so, if I read that correctly, where were you born and now? What finds you, or how did you make your way to London?
Yeah, I am Greek American, just like yourself. I was born and raised in the States. My parents both are Greek. My father made his first, his journey to the States when, just after his high school, and so he was around 1955, 1956, around that time, after his studies, he became a doctor. He worked hard, and then he came back, and me and my mother went back, and he had they had myself and my two siblings, and so we were born and raised there. We were actually born and raised in Mississippi, and so it was a small little town called Natchez, and I grew up there, and we moved to, my parents always wanted to take us, myself and my siblings back to Greece to kind of get to know our other side of our heritage, not just the United States where we were born, but, to Greece itself. So we actually moved back to Athens when I was 12 years old in 1992. And I finished schooling there. And after a whirlwind of places where I studied, I lived, and I worked, I kind of eventually migrated to London with my family as well, now with my wife and 2 kids.
Oh, what a great story. And you've really encapsulated so much of what makes life interesting and exciting, maybe not slow-paced, but definitely exciting. And you are an attorney, but before I get to that, I have to say that over the summer last year on 22, my husband and I were in Mississippi, and it was like culture shock for us as far as the diet goes there.
Sure.
I felt like it wasn't, it wasn't as easy to be health conscious, if you will.
Correct.
And I think that that's such a blessing and an opportunity when we talk about something like what you're addressing here, with lifestyle, with food, et cetera. But anyway, so you're an attorney by trade. What type?
Yeah, so I did. I studied. I always wanted to be an attorney, and I fulfilled my dream. I studied, and I got my degree. I by trade, I am a European lawyer, so European law, but I actually migrated to more international and corporate law. And I was working for that for up until, I don't know, I guess 5-6 years ago. And then, so I was working in various law firms and in-house companies, so like in-house, being an in-house lawyer. And so now I'm not doing that anymore as per se, doing in an office, working in an office. And that's why it gave me time to do my other things, which we'll get into in a moment.
Which really have a strong impact on society if they're able to pick up this book, which I was, and it was just like a page turner, super simple. But a lot of it has to do with, I think, the lifestyle in the village of Lesvos or Greek villages. You are from Lesvos. My family is from Corinth.
Yes.
I've never been to Lesvos.
Yeah.
Give us a glimpse of what it's like.
So Lesvos is an interesting island because it's the 3rd largest island in Greece, and yet it's not as known or as touristy as a lot of the other islands in Greece. It's actually close to the border of Turkey. You can actually see Turkey from its shore on the eastern side of its shore. It's also quite heavily reported on the past 5, 6, 7 years due to the migration of the immigrants coming from Turkey and into Europe. Most of it happened through Lesvos, but it's a historical island. It's a beautiful island. There's so many. It's so large that you can actually find different kind of environments and just kind of different things to see there. There's also a lot of history. We have, obviously the famous Sappho, the poet, the first woman poet that was recorded in history. We also have Odysseus Elitis, and who also won the Nobel Prize in poetry. So we do have a lot of history as well, and it is also it's also the 3rd largest olive oil producer in Greece as well, from the island. So we have about 11 million olive trees, and that's how kind of a lot of people are in the agricultural sector on the island. But yeah, there's a wide array of things to do there and see, and it's a beautiful island. And you can't go there for a couple of days because you need at least a week to kind of, if you want to see most of it, you need at least a week there.
It's so interesting because I've been to several islands in Greece. There are so many. Not sure about the amount, but a couple of years ago I visited Crete. It's so different. The culture is so different. Yeah. And then you have like Patmos. I loved Patmos and Santorini and Mykonos. And some of these islands, they have such a character.
Yes.
Was the island of Lesvos, because I know you went there as a child quite often, was that your inspiration for slow life diet, Greek village living, writing the book?
It was part of my inspiration, yes. When I was growing up in the States, my mother always made it her promise to herself to always take us back in the summer times to Lesvos. just that we had that connection. She was an only child as well to her parents, and so she always wanted to go back and see them because it's such a long trip, especially back then, you know, when it's not so easily accessible to flights now. Back then, it was, you had to, you really had to book the airlines and book your trip way in advance. So she always made it her promise to herself and to the family that she would take us back every summer for 3 months to Lesvos. And her village where she grew up is Paraskevi, which is Saint Friday, and it's a quite big village in that sense, as it has around 2,000 inhabitants, and it's quite a well-known on the island, and so we will always go and stay there. So my inspiration was, I mean, at the time when you grow up there, you don't really think about, what is everyone doing? How are they living? Because you're just a kid and you just kind of want to, have a good summer, have fun, play with your friends, but as you grow older, and this is why, one of the motivations that I wrote, I started thinking back, and the funny thing is, one of my inspirations was my grandmother, who happened to live, in her 95, past her 90s, and it just kind of morphed into this. Is like, wow, what was her? How did she live? Why did she live that long? And just kind of these memories came back to me, and I was doing things that I didn't recognize at the time. And so yes, it was a major inspiration. So going back to Lesvos and sitting, staying in the village for 3 months for 12 years, even past then, we still go there, but for 12 years straight before, until we moved to Greece. We were going there 3 months of the year, and just those that had a really big impact on me, how I grew up, and not how I wrote this book.
What's interesting about that is I too, as a child, would go to Greece. We would go to a village called Zivgalatio. It's unknown. It's in Corinth. It's near the Varchati, like about 20 minutes from the canal. But at the time, you don't realize that pace of life is really something that is just so enriching. And what you see the yayas, the grandmothers, papus, grandfathers doing, walking and picking the greens, or picking the grapes or picking the olives. And then they're coming home and I'll never forget, Stratis, when I saw my aunt kill a chicken. It scared me out of my mind. I was like, oh my God. These
Absolutely.
things. I was like, what? And you see these things. Yeah, you see these things that you would never experience maybe in the States unless you're a farmer.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important. Yeah, and it's important for children to see what's going on at the rest of the world and how people live. So
absolutely.
I mean, kudos to you. So I am so excited to talk about this book because I love to read. I usually don't read like 20 pages in a day. Like I'll read like 4 or 5, I'll put it down, I'll come back at night. Yours is really simple, easy, and informative. So let's talk about that. Sure. The pathway to a healthier lifestyle, healthy habits, and a happier you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got tips in there. You talk a lot about.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I kept it to be an easy read is it goes with the whole theme of the book, simplicity, and so I didn't want to make it complicated for people to read. I didn't want to make it a long read either. I wanted to. The information that I have in there, and also my memories of the village, to actually resonate with everyone that reads it. So that was why I kind of kept it to a simple, kind of easy read. But yeah, I mean, the idea of the book itself is it's about the lifestyle. It's about a lifestyle that aims to have like good and healthy habits. It's instilled in everyday's life, in everyone's life. It's focused on simplicity by slowing down, and it's focusing on the important aspects in your life. And the aim of it is to have in essence, your soul live calmly and undisturbed. And that's what is the overarching theme of the book itself. The interesting thing about it is that you read articles, and I've read so many articles lately about how the proverbial fountain of youth. It can be found. They're doing research on how to slow down the degradation of your cells and kind of prolonging the life like that. And maybe at once in our lifetime or our children's lifetime that may happen in a science fiction type thing. But there is a simpler way, and I kind of think that this simpler way is what I'm trying to portray in this book. It's through everyday things that we can instill in our lives. So yeah, that's the idea of the book itself.
And you have tips, you talk about fish, you talk about teas, you talk about vegetables, you talk about so many different things. So who in your mind, because the subtitle is Greek Village Living, and we talked earlier about in the green room that it's not about a diet, it's about a lifestyle. Who is, in your mind, a Greek villager?
So it's interesting. So a Greek villager is probably anyone that's been to Greece, and I'm not talking about Greeks, I'm talking about non-Greeks that have gone. They probably think of a Greek villager as you said, as an old yaya, an old papu, a grandmother, grandfather who's living in their twilight years and just kind of enjoying their life. And that is my inspiration. Like I said, it was my grandmother who was a Greek villager. But what I wanted to make clear in this book is that anyone can be a Greek villager. And it doesn't have to be, someone that is living in the Greek village, and it has to be, in their 80s, living that life. The idea is that you can actually bring back those ideas and instill it in your own life. It may not be all the tips that I write in the book, because it's obviously maybe some things are easier in a Greek village than in somewhere else. But there are aspects you can do, even tweaking those things to actually instill it in your own life wherever you are. And that's the idea that I'm trying to portray and trying to pass on to readers that are non-Greek in a sense, because the Greeks will understand how to. I don't want to say easily integrate, but they understand where it's coming from. But for a non-Greek to read it and say, how am I supposed to integrate maybe a nap in my day? You can if you don't have to do it every day, but maybe on the weekend take a little bit of time and kind of doing it that way. So there are ways to do it. You don't have to go to Greek village to be a Greek villager, but everyone can be a Greek villager.
Excellent. We always say islander. Let's be a Greek villager.
Villager, exactly.
I like it. Bravo, έγινε. You have tips and challenges in your book. I like here you say something. There's so much wonder in this book because of the fact that there are some basic, simple, rudimentary aspects of what, like Hippocrates said, basically food is medicine, medicine is food.
Absolutely.
But I like this village habit number 12. Your body is a wonderland. And I truly, if we really look at our body and how we complicate things, Strati, it's like they say, if you're good inside, you're good outside and vice versa. And I think that it's so important for us to integrate those good thoughts with what's going on with our body. But yes, it's a miracle how our body functions every day. Is that what you meant by this section?
Yeah. So, yes, of course. That's the overarching theme for that chapter. And yes, I do have many tips in the book, and I'll come back to what you said. About the tips that I say about the habits that the Greek villagers have. Most of it, about 60 to 65%, is based on food, and the rest of it is not based on food. And I think that's why I play on the word diet, because it's not just about food, but it's about the lifestyle itself. And it has to do with social interactions. So social interactions, or being closer to nature, going outside, having a habit that's that you're passionate about, but you also integrate exercise. So what I use an example inside where where my grandmother she used to go run her errands in the village, and while she was doing that, she was walking. So it's not something that you actually think about, I need to exercise and I'm going to go and exercise, but it was something that, I need to run some errands. I need to go and buy this, and this. And then while doing that, she's walking. At the same time, the social interactions is very important in a Greek village, but also in Greek society itself. At the same time when you're doing your errands, you're actually meeting friends on the way, stopping to talk to them, and getting also the latest gossip or news by going to the fishmonger or the bakery, and that's part of the whole lifestyle itself. And a lot of people actually did a book presentation when I went back to Greece now, and a lot of the people said, okay, well, that's fine, but how can you do that? And it comes back to me where everybody can be a Greek village. How can you do that, for example, like in London where you are? I said, it's very simple. When you live in a neighborhood, you don't live in London, you live in your own neighborhood. And while you're going to your neighborhood, you have your certain shops you can go to, and you go there quite often. And at a certain time, you're going to get to know the person that behind the counter. And that's a part. So say hello, say hi, how is it going? Start a conversation with them. And on the way, you'll get to know your neighbors. You may see them. And that's part of the whole thing. It may not seem as like, oh, because you don't have the sun, you don't have the beach nearby, or you may not have the Greek tavernes where you can go cook. But no, it doesn't matter. That's part of the social interaction, what you're saying. And so coming back to what you're saying about your body as a wonderland, it also has to do with taking care of your body, but it also, if you read inside, that it's also like, for example, I'm saying, about taking a nap. Adjusting your internal clock in order to not be rude awakened by an alarm clock, but actually by the sun. Of course, when there's in London right here, when there's during the winter where the sun rises actually at 7-8 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime. Yeah, okay, I understand that it may not be possible then, but if you go to sleep at a certain time and you wake up at a certain time, your body will be adjusted to that, and it's your circadian rhythm that what Greeks have actually tapped into without having to actually do a scientific study. They know about that, and so it's like, so that's what I wanted to say. So your body knows a lot of things, and your body needs also the social aspect, and which makes your mental health boost up, not just from your diet, but also from the external things. Another tip that I get, which is, I'm sorry to just ramble on, Kiki, but
I love it. No, it's great.
But another tip, for example, which is an important part of this lifestyle, is actually finding a passion and doing it. Because once you find something like that, then if it's something outdoor, great. If it's something indoor, it's your mental health that you actually can boost your mental part of your brain that will actually help also your physical part. And so, for example, my grandmother also loved gardening. And so she would also tend to her flowers. She knew exactly where everything was. She was her passion. She would do it every day without fail, winter, summer, it didn't matter. And so that was her passion. She was outdoors as well, and it was a part of her exercise without, again, thinking that it was exercise. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just a eating diet, but it's also a physical, social interaction as well as mental health.
I love that you that's why I love, at first I was like, slow life diet, Greek village living. But now I'm really absorbing that and I really love it. An example of that would be my godbrother. He is a chemical engineer. He just came over for one day. He was doing business in the States. He's a resident of Athens. And I said, so Christo, what have you been up to? And he told me about his job. And he, on the side on the weekends, paints. And he just paints. He paints nature. He took a painting class, amazing. And now he's an instructor. He paints seaside views, but he also takes Kolokotronis. He'll take somebody from the war and he'll do the original from the 1800s, and then he'll make them modern. So he does this side by side. Amazing. He has so much fun with it, and that creativity can release so many endorphins. But
sure.
Gosh, this episode's going. Yeah, this episode's going so fast. Couple more things. Yep. I can't believe we're almost out of time. Okay, so what do you, Stratis Kamatsos, you're the author of Slow Life Diet, Greek Village Living. You're also an attorney by trade. You have a very interesting lifestyle. You grow olive trees. You have olive oil, yes. Award-winning. So do I.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know that is We know that is liquid gold. But what do you eat on a daily basis to stay healthy? Like, what do you like? What does your morning look like?
So, if you, just a little side note, if you do buy the book, you can actually sign up and I can send you a sample menu, which is actually taken from what I kind of did in my life. I mean, it is a 1 week menu. You can actually, use it, see how I did it, and if you want to ask for the recipes, of course I can send to you. But it's kind of simple, Kiki. It's not hard. I mean, it's what's hard is actually to make it a habit in your life, not what to eat. So what I eat is I definitely try to instill at least 2 to 3 times a week, vegetables, legumes, pulses, and beans in the diet. And that I do. Now, obviously, because we have, a lot of people have kids, it's hard to actually kind of make them eat what you eat, and sometimes you also have to tailor to them. And I say in my book that meat obviously should be reduced and it shouldn't be consumed on a daily basis. Red meat it shouldn't be. But if you have no other choice because of your children, obviously I say okay, resort to white meat, at least lean meat. That you actually. So we kind of incorporate maybe once, maybe twice a week, some chicken, turkey, something that's really lean. But it's dominated by the vegetables, it's dominated by the legumes, it's dominated by pulses, beans, and always in every meal I include, as you do too, and olive oil.
Amen, brother.
Amen. That is the number one. I think it's the highest consumed product in Greece because they use it for everything and in every meal. And I can't stress enough. And I've seen also your videos. I can't stress enough why people should start using it in every meal, because it is the healthiest fat you can find on the market.
We're giving away 3 copies of Slow Life Diet, Greek Village Living. And my takeaway today is take your habit and put it anywhere where you will do it all the time. And for me, it would be like an outside walk. I just love getting outside no matter what temperature it is. I'd love to give a shout out now because we got our ratings in and we're like top of the charts in Czech Republic, Romania, Italy, Greece, and Mexico, believe it or not, and US.
Nice.
So, hey, everybody, if you're listening, you're going to like this book, Slow Life Diet. I asked my special guest, and you've been extremely special, Stratis. Are you Efstratios?
I am actually, yes. That is my birthday. Stratis Kamatsos.
Efstratios. Please finish this question with an answer, your answer. In my life, I've learned that.
So I've learned. I've heard, actually it's not my quote, but I really loved it when I heard it. Actually, it's something that's it's something that makes you think, and it also goes that it doesn't matter where you start off with. Where you start, you can actually end up somewhere else, and if it makes you a bit better person, then that's all worth it. So what I've heard is that it's better to be a hypocrite than to be the same person forever.
Stratis Kamatsos, I'm so happy we finally connected, and I wish you a wonderful winter because we will talk again soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Kiki. I really appreciate it, and and I love your podcast. Keep up the good work. Και θα ανταμώσουμε σύντομα.
Δεν ευχαριστώ πολύ, να είσαι καλά. Stay right there. Up next, your weekly takeaway to keep it all as well. Ola kala.
This Ola Kala moment brought to you by the law offices of Liston and Centillus. Ranked number 1 by the leading lawyers network since 2010, taking care of all your real estate needs.
Want to be Ola kala, all is well, each and every day? Then take a breath of fresh air for at least 10 minutes each and every day. That's right. Step outside in any weather and breathe in and out so that you receive all the benefits of fresh oxygen. Fresh air cleans your lungs, boosts your mood, lowers your heart rate, and increases that Kefi energy that I'm so sure you desire. Florence Nightingale knew the benefits of fresh air long before any scientific study. So friends, head out, breathe in, breathe out, Ola kala, panta kala, and you'll be all as well all the time.
Kiki Vale is the founder of Kefi Life. She is passionate about whole person wellness and living a fulfilled life. Her Kepi Life podcast is created to simply and naturally help you harmonize the mind, body, and soul the Greek way. Visit KepiLife.com, at KepiLife365 on Instagram, and check out Kiki Vale on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Join us again next time for more positive energy and inspiration on Kepi Life.